ancient cemetery. Just joking. This is a magnetic termite mound field, and they look like tombstones, don't they? But when you actually come up a bit closer, they're termite mounds, and they're very cleverly built because to the east and west they're very narrow. So where the sun rises and sets, there's minimal surface area. Whereas to the north and south, that's where all their surface area is. So what that means is they don't absorb that much heat because they're never facing the sun. And if you have a look around, that's what all these termite mounds, they're all facing the same way, like tombstones in a cemetery. Which is pretty clever, isn't it? But if you stumbled in here at night, you would think you're in a cemetery.
It's a bit broken off, that one. No, they were going crazy.
On a repair mission. Here we are in Litchfield, and this is one of our more elaborate camping setups, which I'll just go through now. Because it's build up season now and it's really quite warm at night, you know, sort of 25 degree minimum, we are going to sleep separately just to reduce body heat. So Emma's going to sleep up in the roof topper with a fan, and I'm going to sleep in the Mozzie Dome on an air mattress, again with the Ryobi fan there, and Emma's got one up in the rooftop tent. We're not going to need, it's too hot for a fire really, so we're just going to cook off the old butane burner tonight. That's ready to go. What do you reckon, Em?
It's a little bit warm at the moment.
Yep.
But Gin's cooling it down.
Because you've dressed up like a jihad warrior.
It's because I heard a mozzie buzzing in my ear about half an hour ago.
Yeah,
so I've covered up.
Fair enough.
So I don't get bitten.
And it is build-up season now, so you're never sure that a storm or a passing shower isn't going to come over. So that's why we've set up this 270 degree awning, just so that, well, one, I won't get drenched if it rains, and there is, yeah, we can keep everything under cover. So if there is a shower, we'll be all right. And we'll be fine in the rooftop, obviously. And that noise you can hear is over that way. That's the running creek, and that's the appeal of this particular spot. So we're not far from Surprise Creek Falls, and I'll show you that creek in a minute and why it's a good spot. Well, this is, as I said, this is the appeal of where we're camping. If I just look back that way, you'll see our camp's only about 50 metres that way. And this is why we stop here. This is just a simple road crossing. Nothing special. Only about shin deep, this water, but it's beautiful, cool and clear. There's definitely no crocs, obviously, because it's shin deep, and it's just way too small a creek for crocs to live in. So this is absolutely perfect cooling off or having a quick wash. And that, you know, if a car's coming, you're going to hear it coming for a long way, so you got time to get out of the water and get out of the way, basically. If you can see in there, there's a waterfall in there. The sun's setting. I'll be having a wash soon. Like I said, I'll just show you how clear that, you can see that, crystal clear, that water. Beautiful, beautiful cool water. Like I said, it's build up season, so ultra hot. And yeah, there's our campsite again. I'll zoom in. Beautiful. So leaving Catherine, heading back to Kununurra after a recent trip to Darwin. And we've got a few days left of holidays. So a spot we always drive past and always wonder about, not far out of Catherine, is the Winning or Flora River National Park. And it's supposed to be good fishing. You need a parks pass to go in there, and to be honest, we've driven past it a load of times and always thought, oh, I can't be bothered. This time we're actually going to go and have a look and see what's there. You can camp there. We've no idea what the camping's like. Like obviously we don't get into highly regulated sort of caravan park type camps or designated area type camping. So we might be disappointed with what we find there. But we're going to have a look. It's supposed to be really good fishing and beautiful scenery, so we'll record what we see. The turn-off is about 80 kilometres southwest of Catherine, and then it's about another 30 kilometres on a dirt road track to go up to the national park area. It's not a particularly challenging track. I've read it's not, you can two-wheel drive accessible. So, but I just honestly haven't seen anything about it. Like, I think there's one YouTube clip that exists about the place, and that didn't give a lot of detail. So yeah, it's very difficult to know what we're going to find out there, because I've seen a few pictures. Looks very nice, but like I said, you're finding out at the same time as us. So we'll film a bit more as we get closer. And we're just leaving the city limits now. Yep, so just 80 k's down the Victoria Highway from Catherine, and you come to the turn off. Winning/Flora River. So Winning being the traditional name, Flora River being the Anglo name. Apparently it's 46 kilometres from this turn off to the recreation area. So what I'll do now is I'll just put it to 4-wheel drive, and we might even set a GPS on there, a travel guide on the old Hummer. Technically it's not a 4-wheel drive track, and it's supposed to be 2-wheel drive accessible, but Jesus, I wouldn't want to be driving a 2-wheel drive on this track. It's just, there's washouts, there's water over the road. It's not a bad track, but there's no way I'd take a 2-wheel drive up here. The other thing is, I don't know if you can make out on the side of the road there, those sort of brown lumps are little termite mounds. And some of them are actually sort of on the shoulder of the road, and you got to keep out an eye out for them, because if you hit one of those at driving speed, you potentially do catastrophic damage to your car. So it's not a bad track, but it's certainly one you got to be a bit careful on. And I certainly wouldn't be doing this track in anything other than a fully capable 4-wheel drive. Again, you can see here there's little washouts and bog holes around the place. Just, yeah, 4-wheel drive. There's my point of view. Yeah, so about 30 k's up the track. 30 to 35 k's, maybe 35 k's. You come to the turn off for the nature park. So this is it. If you keep going further up this road, you get to a what appears to be a community. Our map saying Jarung community. part of the Waterman Aboriginal land area. So we are going to turn now into the nature park. We've paid for our parks permit earlier. There's the familiar crocodile safety sign that you see pretty much everywhere in Northern Australia next to waterholes. And I think the camping area is about 10 kilometres up this track. So we're going to have a look. If it's not the type of camping we want to do, we're going to continue on, go back to the highway and continue towards Victoria River. But, yeah, we'll see you in about 10 kilometres. Starting to approach the national park, and we've got a bit of a creek crossing here. There's the tropical growth that starts when you get closer to the water. It's crystal clear water actually.
I was going to say you don't need to check how deep it is because you can see.
Well, it's actually got a concrete bottom now.
Yeah, good.
Approaching the campground now, so not sure what we're going to find, to be honest. Lawn campground, so there's a day use area down here and river access, and it looks like they're going to make us camp away from the river. There's a bit of an obscured view of Janjan Falls on the Flora River. There is apparently a walk track to it. Bug it if we can find it. It's sort of just above the river here, and the noise you can hear and what we're looking at are basically resting fruit bats. So this is obviously their home. Couple down there. Well, this is the stuff of Bruce Wayne's nightmares. Bats everywhere, and we're disturbing them, but this is the way we're going to go. Well, this is the only real spot I can find with access for a fish. Keep my wits about me as well because there's bloody crocs obviously everywhere, but a few snags down here. Might have a flick and see what we can get. Yeah, so you can sort of see down there that the vast majority of the river access around here is overgrown, and there are walk tracks here that we couldn't even find. And I suspect they're overgrown from a few big wet seasons. So unfortunately, this doesn't look like it's been the best year for us to access the river and really get stuck into the fishing. You're looking at the Lawn campground, which is pleasant enough, but there's toilets here and fire pits. Pleasant enough, but realistically, you're so far away with such limited access to the river that I don't see the point camping here. Like, if you had to stop somewhere, it's pleasant enough, but I can think of way better spots. So that's a shame because it was a beautiful tropical river. And I reckon the fishing would be good in there if you could spend a bit of time by the water, particularly drive the 50 k's back to the Victoria Highway, and we will head on towards the Victoria River and see if we can find anything around there. So we leaving the area now. We'll see you back on the Victoria Highway. Valley after we left Flora River National Park or Nature Park. It wasn't our kind of camping. So we're back on the Vic Highway and we're heading towards the Victoria River, and we won't be too far off getting to the Vic River. I think we're probably only about 30 k's. And the valley has some pretty stunning scenery, particularly around the roadhouse, which we'll try and film a bit more when we get closer to it. But what you're looking at now is the start of the Victoria River Valley now. And this is very typical. It looks a lot like this for a long time. We're just having a look at a track we found not far from the bridge at the Victoria Roadhouse, which I think goes down to where Sullivan Creek meets the Victoria River, but we don't know, so we're just exploring. We've got a couple of places we're going to check out, and if they're no good, then we'll have to drive home. Exploring some tracks near the Victoria River Gorge, and that's looking down to the river down there, so we're quite elevated here. I'm not 100% sure if this track will get us down to the river or not, but we're just having an explore at the moment to see what we can find. Incredible views of the Victoria River Gorge from here. Spectacular. Some beautiful banks down there by the river. If only I could get down there, but I can't. Here's camp for the night, and we wanted to find a spot with fishing and views, and lo and behold, we've found it. So this is our view for the evening, and down there is a billabong on the Victoria River where I'm going to flick some lures around, and this is where we're going to have our fire, and we're going to set up here. There's camp, minimal camp because we're on the road and we're away early tomorrow. Plenty of sun for the solar panel at the moment, which is good. And then we should actually get some early shade, because behind that sort of mountain range there, that's exactly where the sun's due to set. So another hour and a half and we should get some early shade. And as the evening progresses and the sun sets, we should get some pretty spectacular colours on those rocks. Just having a quick beer break from fishing. Sun hasn't quite set yet behind the mountain ranges. And you can see back up towards camp on the headland. Fish for a couple of hours, no luck. But I'll tell you what a glorious spot to be. And it's still early. The luck may change yet. But I am going to go back to camp now. And we'll check the fishing out again a bit later. Have a go at that. How about that for a view from camp? Spectacular is the word that probably does it the most justice. The red rock glowing in the dying sun. And in the morning, we'll get all of this lit up. That's looking down to where I was fishing earlier on. I'm looking back towards camp, and I should probably think about getting the fire going. Em has picked the changing colours of the sunset, changing from orange to pinky purple. Is that right, Em?
Pinky purple. There's the first star as well.
No, I don't think this camera will pick it up. And lamb ribs, sorry, we're having tonight. With one of the best backdrops in the world. There's the colours Em was talking about. Beautiful. How about those colours? So it's a pretty good night in on the Vic River. We didn't get any fish, but the scenery and the backdrop is amazing and worth stopping here just for that. And whenever you drive between Kununurra and Katherine, this is probably the highlight of the drive. And we're just going to take a bit of footage now as we leave the valley. The next stop will be Timber Creek, and then the stop after that is the WA border, and we're home again. But we'll leave you with the drive through the Victoria Valley. Well, we've moved on our way home, and we've just gone past Timber Creek. This is the Victoria River, but this is a special sort of place because this is where Augustus Gregory and his Northern Australian expedition back in, I think it was 1855, sailed up the river, and they set up camp here. I believe they repaired their mast from wood that they cut from here, hence the name Timber Creek. But you can see that they've left a mark in this boab tree. July the 2nd, 1856. So that was Gregory and his men who carved that in as a sort of record of their arrival. And yeah, one of the first sites of European exploration / whatever you want to call it, whatever the politically correct term is. This is where they set up camp. And their mission was to find out more information about Northern Australia and the Aboriginal people and their customs, plus the rivers and waterways. Anyway, that's where we're going to leave it for now. There's the Victoria River. That's the end of this video, which we thought we'd just make to show you the Victoria River area, which is really quite close to where we live. It's only about 200 to 300 kilometres away from Kununurra, just into the Northern Territory. Almost part of the Kimberley, you could say, almost. I'm sure the Territorians would disagree, but it is a very Kimberley feel, particularly if you have a look at the fact there are boabs. You know, the boabs are sort of iconic to the Kimberley, so it feels like you're back in the Kimberley when you get to Timber Creek on the drive home from Darwin. But there you go, Victoria River, the site of the first European settlers here, and it's an Aboriginal sacred place as well. And we are going to head back home. See you on the next trip.